Hey everyone, hope all is well. Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about what all do you need to keep in mind to ace MBA interviews at ISB. I made a similar video 1 year back, but I would want to embed my learnings from the interview cycle last year and update you all on what has changed, what kind of questions are asked typically, what should you typically 30 to 40 minutes long, whether it's in person, whether it's on Zoom, depends on your interview preference, your city. And you typically are intimated 7 to 8 days before the interview on, okay, this is your interview date. You have to report to this hotel, this venue, and you have to wear formal clothes. And interviews are taken by alumni of the school, typically two alums in a panel. You might have three, typically two, who might not be from your background, right? And apart from that, when it comes to the kind of questions which are asked, before I delve deeper, बहुत लोगों को ये notion होता है that they'll end up asking me general knowledge questions, current affairs, but ISB interviews में ये सब नहीं होता. Unless Sarthak as an aspirant ends up telling them that I follow geopolitics, they'll not ask Sarthak questions on geopolitics, right? So they only ask you questions basis what you have answered in the essays, in the CV, or in the initial questions of the interview. Now, why did I say CV? Because this year, which is starting 2024, ISB has started asking you for your CV as well. They have uploaded a format which they did not earlier. So when it comes to interviews, they are based on your context, aspirations, essays, CV, and everything that you've submitted in the application. So please keep that in mind. कुछ भी लिख देना essay में for the sake of writing, be it a work project, be it a hobby, be it being a part of the placement team, be it my goals, without clarity, without thinking through it, is a cardinal sin, because they can pick that up in the interview and ask you questions about it. For example, one of my mentees last year, he got through, he applied in round 3. He had written about his work with Flipkart. He was in the data analytics team, and he had talked about Big Billion Day in Flipkart and how he contributed. He was working in cahoots with the CEO's office. In the interview, the alum who saw his essay, they specifically asked him, if I had removed you from this process for a couple of days, what would have gone wrong? The intent was to ask his individual contribution, right? So you have to have that much clarity ki, even though it was a team project, it was a very marquee event for the team, for any e-commerce platform, but what were you individually doing or driving? So that sort of clarity has to be there, right? And that really encompasses work-centric questions that they might ask you, which is your most professional accomplishment, any mistake that you did in a professional context, what is your leadership style, and tell us about a situation when you had a conflict with a team member and how did you resolve it. And this time, I think they have asked you in your second essay that tell us about intellectual experiences which have prompted you to do an MBA, right? So they might grill you on that as well. Ki if that intellectual experiences is a work project, when exactly did you feel that आपको MBA करना ही पड़ेगा? And these alums are very sharp. They might try to corner you and make you confess कि हाँ MBA तो ठीक है, good to have है. अगर मैं कोई upskilling course कर लूँगा online, उससे भी मेरे को ये ये जो skill gap है वो cover हो जाएगा. But you have to ensure that you're well prepared. For example, if Sarthak has said in his second essay that when I was working with Deloitte as an auditor, I was able to analyze, dissect everything, every problem from an auditory lens. I had good working knowledge of finance, which was helpful. But when it came to understanding marketing metrics, talking to the sales team of the company or the client that we were helping, I lagged behind, right? Now the alum who's reading this essay and asking you questions might ask you, अच्छा ठीक है, you're saying you don't have marketing knowledge. तो फिर आप क्राफ्ट शाला का कोई अपस्किलिंग कोर्स कर लो मार्केटिंग कोहॉर्ट का, आपको ISB क्यों आना है? Those sort of questions you have to expect, right? And in those questions, you have to apply a multidisciplinary lens and tell them on why an MBA is a whole package. How, even beyond marketing, it will help you delve deeper into operations, finance, HR, organizational behavior simultaneously in a case-based pedagogy, which is not offered anywhere else in India, right? So my fear is that ISB interviews anyway are centered around your aspirations. MBA क्यों करना है, ISB क्यों आना है. And in 2024, you have your third essay, which is your typical essay कि ISB क्यों आना है. उस पे तो वो questions पूछेंगे. जो second essay है ना, वो essentially is a why MBA essay. उन्होंने उसको घुमा फिरा के लिख दिया है which intellectual experiences have shaped your learning approach, but the essential question is why MBA? What gaps do you have in your business toolkit? So I believe the interviews this time will be heavily centered around क्यों करना है MBA? Why do I want to spend 40 lakhs in order to transition to a different role? So please spend time on why exactly do I need to do an MBA, and then answer why ISB fits all of those requirements and expectations that you have. Right? And another anecdote which I wanted to recount before I end the video is sometimes, let's say Sarthak is in ZS Associates and he wants to build a career in consulting, right? Then the alums might ask him ki, you are in ZS and now you're saying you want to pivot to strategy consulting. You can do this without ISB as well, right? There might be questions like this. So uske andar a safer answer to have is, okay, I might transition from ZS to Accenture, let's say in X number of years. But if I have the ISB knowledge, experience, exposure, and network with me, I'll be able to do that sooner. And when I join Accenture or McKinsey or BCG, I'll be hired as a front-end consulting working directly with clients, rather than working as an analyst or a senior analyst in a back-end role. So even if my career path or my envisioned aspiration after ISB is similar to my context right now, an ISB MBA will definitely help me get there sooner, faster, with a better pay package, with front-end client interfacing roles, which without an MBA is very difficult to get in that much time frame, which is 1 year. So keep these 2-3 things in mind, but please take out time to think about why MBA, because there are 2 essays this time which are directly or indirectly asking you the same question कि MBA क्यों करना है? What skill set gaps do you have? Right? So please read and reread your second and third essays. Try to poke holes. Try to take mock interviews as soon as possible. It will really help you up your confidence and have a candid, authentic conversation with alums who will be interviewing you eventually. I'll keep making more and more videos around interviews, the curveball questions, but please keep these questions in mind. Thank you.